afternoon, Quilt Roadies. Thank you for stopping by. If you are new to this channel or you stumbled upon it by accident, please hit the subscribe button and that notification because it'll let you know when I next upload a Quilt Roadie video. Thank you for stopping by, and I shall be sharing all of this past week, which is amazing. It was an amazing week. But let me tell you, I am not going to show you, but I wish you could see the Bee Hive. It is like a tornado went through it. It's just like a tornado went through it. And I'll explain the reason for that. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. I mean, this is the first day that I can remember where there basically is not a cloud in the sky. All there are jet trails. We are supposed to get an atmospheric river. Whoever came up with that term is like not my friend. But today is a glorious day, and I've been out running around doing errands, and now I am here with you. So this is my place where I talk all things quilting and stitching. Anything in the quilting world, that's what I'm doing right now. It is going to get busier and busier as we go into June. July, Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, second Saturday in July every year. And the week before is the Quilters Affair, which is a week-long classes at the high school. The Stitching Post brings teachers from all over the world to the little town of Sisters and offers classes across the board. Every kind of genre of class you could imagine in the quilting world is offered in Sisters, Oregon for this 1 week. I've been working with the Quilters Affair for quite a few years. I've taught watercolor, I've taught wool, a lot of different things, but now I've settled into this really sweet sit and stitch. And so this year I'm doing 4 days of sit and stitch, which is this really perfect time to gather with new friends and old friends and just sew. Now, because sit and stitch is it offers a space for you to sew at the high school. We have the library as our classroom. They offer ironing boards there. There's cutting mats. You can bring your own cutting mat, your own sewing machine. You can hand sew. You can cross stitch. You can embroider. You can piece. You can rent ahead of time. You can arrange to rent a sewing machine so you don't have to haul your sewing machine, and then it gets delivered to the classroom. But best of all about sit and stitch is the community, because quilters are in there from all over the place. Sometimes you have, and a lot of times we have a lot of repeat participants, and they only see each other at this time of year. It's just such a lovely, lovely time for me to see all of you who come, and also for the people participating to kind of get, it's like seeing an old friend. Yeah. What happens with sit and stitch is that later in the week, usually who shows up to sit and stitch on Thursday and Fridays especially are people who took another class at the beginning of the week, and they just want to keep working at it. Well, it's still fresh in their head. They want to keep working and kind of make some headway. Or they might bring a project from last year's Quilters Affair. My whole job as I moderate sit and stitch is to entertain talk, share, give opinions, suggestions, help you if you're stuck on a project, find an answer for you if you have a question. Yeah, that's what I do, and I get to spend a whole day with several of you. So I know that probably there are still some slots open for Sit and Stitch. So really, if you're going to be in the area, come play with me. Come play with me at Sit and Stitch at the Quilters Affair. And the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, which is always the second Saturday in July, is a bucket list show because it is a show that goes up at 7 in the morning by an army of volunteers, of local volunteers, and the quilts are all hung outside the buildings in town. And you get to walk around and just enjoy al fresco this wonderful event. So please, please, make some time for yourself and come visit. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so what has been going on? I was invited to do a presentation at the Salem Quilt Guild. It was a gift to me. It was an amazing time. I was to do a presentation in the morning and a presentation in the evening. I kind of feel bad for the evening people because I was tired by the evening, and so I wasn't quite on my game. But, you know, I mean, I'm old. I'm old. It was a retrospective of my quilting life, and I took my very first quilt and told stories about the quilts as I quilted from about 93, 94 to the present, and what that transition was for me. So I shared that with the Guild, and it was a wonderful, I had a very loving response to my presentation, which was such a gift to me. And it was interesting. I mean, I was gobsmacked, mind you, at their show and tell and the whole process of the Guild. I have not found a Guild here. I think there might be one in the Portland area, but I've not heard of any around this area. But I do stitch in community at Pioneer Quilts, and I also have taken a class at Cedar Ridge Quilts, which is a lovely shop if you're ever in the area. So those are my two go-to shops that are near me. What I came with, here I'm there to present this program. And they asked if I would do a sit and stitch after the morning program. So they have their business meeting, and then we have the program I present, and then we had a little lunch, and then a sit and stitch in which the people that wanted to participate sat in a big circle and were doing various types of stitching, handwork that is in the quilting world. And then the program coordinator took me out to dinner. We had a lovely time at a McMiniman's I hadn't been to, and then I came back for the evening program. And there was some question and answer in between my presentation. And so when we sat in the circle, I was just, what? So sitting in the circle was a lovely woman who said, "I'm so thankful that you mentioned my daughter." And Your daughter? And her friend that was sitting there, yeah, Bonnie Sullivan's her daughter. And my brain was like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You know, normally I have a very fast brain, but in this situation, it was like going through, I felt like there was actually like this mechanical thing going on, and I could hear like bonk, 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 bonk. And I said to her, I said, Bonnie Sullivan's your daughter? And she said, yeah. And then I had this kind of, my brain was like going along again, and I said, oh my gosh, that means Kathy Schmitz is your daughter. And she said, yes. I was just like blown away because I know the two of them are sisters. And the question that was asked of me during the presentation is, if someone is allergic to wool, is there any other product to use? Is felt okay? Yeah, it's okay. It just doesn't have the look of wool. But what I have had students do, which is so gorgeous, is to use flannel. And I had said that Bonnie Sullivan's flannel by far is the most beautiful flannel. The dye lots are just gorgeous and really lend themselves to any wool pattern. And so she was just thanking me for saying that. I also told her Kathy Schmitz, her daughter, is like, I don't even know how to say this. She makes me crazy because I love everything she does. And I was like, and she just started laughing. I said, I have these animals that I'm going to do. I was supposed to do them for my youngest grandchild so he would have something to play with. And then I squirrel. And so now I have one animal. See? Isn't she cute? She's so cute. I just love these. Yeah. I love both of her daughters, but I have a lot of both patterns by both of them. And so then I came, then in the circle, there was someone working on hexies. I have hexies. I have a whole hexie desk. I have a hexie bag. I have hexies. Embroidery. Oh. And then the raffle quilt was made with a form of hexies, which I will have G insert the photo of that. It is stunningly beautiful, absolutely stunningly beautiful. And so I would venture to say, if you want to be in on that raffle, you should contact the Salem Quilt Guild and say you want to buy some raffle tickets. So between the morning program and the evening program, we had this lovely, lovely time together. It was really, but it made me think about quilting as a community. That we tend to think, especially when you're in my age group, you tend to think, oh, I don't need to take another class, I don't need to buy more fabric, I don't need to, I need to just, But I'm here to tell you, part of that getting excited about something new is what's going to keep you young. It's, when you start throwing in the fabric, then you start thinking of yourself as, yeah, I'm on the last thread. So I encourage you, don't give in to that. Don't give in to that talk about, because when you look at pictures, I was talking to my girlfriend from high school, and she said when she looks at pictures of like her grandmother, when she was 50, she looked old. Well, this is kind of a hot stuff going on now at 70. So I would say that we should not give in to that. We should keep putting one foot in front of the quilting foot. And I also had this aha moment. I know I'm a little bit on a rant here, but I had this aha moment that I kind of want to share with the world. And I know that a lot of you are maybe members of guilds. And watching the morning guild and then being able to see the evening guild, the big thing that guilds, the stumbling block, let me just say, the stumbling block of guilds is to get those volunteers. You know, nobody wants to step up to the plate, be president, vice president, be the head of a committee. Oh my gosh, it's too much, you know. And it's because we have kind of distanced ourselves. And especially the last 4 years. But in that stitch group that happened in between the two guilds, it suddenly occurred to me that this is what's missing. We need to get back to our tribes. I preach that all the time. You need your tribe. Because a lot of times your family or your kids or your sisters or whoever are tired of your stories. They don't want to hear it over and over again. And we need fresh listeners. And I noticed in that community of where we spent the afternoon stitching, people got to tell a story, got to tell their story to a group of girlfriends, because they don't normally do this sit and stitch with the guild. But they got to tell their story, and it was moving. It made a difference. You get to voice. You get to have someone actually listening to you. And with that said, listen to me, Quilting Guilds of America. You need to have more sit and stitch. Because if people get into relationships, stitching, being together, when you need a volunteer, you're not going to say no to your girlfriend because you're in a relationship. So when you need someone for a year to be in charge of whatever, it would you wanna be there and be supportive. But the way we have to do that is to make the relationship first. Yeah. Okay. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I want more of that. I want more stitching community. Because I was moved. I laughed. I was emotionally moved by some of the stories that were shared and by the creativity. And that's where I'm back at now. This beehive is a cluster right now because I came back so inspired. Here I was going there to inspire, but I came back here and was like, where is that? Why can't I find that? What am I going to do? I need to sew this. I need to sew that. I have 1,000 hexies. What am I going to do with them? Oh, and I saw Kathy Schmidt's mother was sewing a hexie flower in which the center was an embroidery by her daughter. And I thought, ooh, ooh, yeah. It's been quite an event here. I can't tell you. You think you're giving a gift, but you get the gift tenfold. You get the gift tenfold. And it truly was so fun to look at all my quilts. The only thing I'm disappointed about is I forgot to take my X-File quilt. That's one of my favorites, and I forgot to take it. Oh well, yeah. And there were some people there that were not members but had come just to hang out, and one of them, because they do have, you can come as a guest to their meetings. It makes me want to go to the state fair, because they do a quilt thing at the Polk County Fair. Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. But Jessica, who actually lives in Silverton, and she sells some of her creations at, and I'll have G insert the picture of us. It's JJK Creations. She sells some of her stuff in the gift shops in Silverton, and it's kind of funny because I told her, I said, my girlfriend Audrey lives in Silverton, and she's not a quilter, but you never know. But Silverton has some lovely gift shops and antique shops, and I had just told G last week, I want to go shopping over to Silverton. So Jessica lives in Silverton, and she sells these at some of the gift shops over there, and she gave me one, and it's this wraps around here. It's a little bag, and she's hand stitched it all. There's, this is like a bullion stitch up here. And then she put a little bee here she stitched. I think this is called cantha stitching. I can't quite remember. But when you open it up, she put a little heart in there. Isn't that just, what a kindness. Look within, the secret is inside you. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yes. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much. This was just absolutely lovely. So I came back, wound up. Can you tell? I came back wound up because I realized that quilting in solitary brings your mother's voice. Or your inner judge. Quilting, stitching in a group brings excitement. And I came back so excited. So many things, and so I've created this kind of mess as I've been looking for things. So I had to look for all of my patterns. Where are my little animal patterns? But the best, one of the best things that happened on the trip home was that when I arrived home, my package from Yazzi Bags, Yasmita had sent me, and I've been waiting for this bag. Because it turns out, well, it didn't turn out, but it's the way it is. My Yazzi bags are no longer in production. So, there's always, as with quilting, someone's always designing something new. And so there was a whole new line of Yazzi bags. And I was especially looking forward to this particular bag because I'm going to take a quilting class. I have been a big fan of Blue Nickel Studio, Scott Hansen, and I have wanted to take his trees class at Quilters Affair for years, but always Scott and I work on the same day. And if you want to, if you're new or haven't been following along or missed this episode, on YouTube, type in Quilt Roadies, Scott Hansen and Giuseppe interview, because last year I did an interview with him, and so you get to know Scott personally. So I have wanted to take his trees class for a while and always end up working on that day, and have loved all of the, because I'll end up with some of the students in the sit and stitch who are working on the trees. So he messaged me that this summer his class was going to be on Monday. So I messaged that I want a Monday off because I want to take Scott's class. And just so you know, I do not get any privilege of getting in a class. I have to wait at that time, at that moment, to press that button to register for a class, just like everybody else. But because I was there at that second, I got in. And the trees class is, it's a scrap class. Each tree is made out of several fabrics, so it's a scrap class. And if you've ever been to a quilt class that was a scrap class, you know what each person's table looks like. It looks like a quilt store exploded in the classroom. And I am very insecure about what, if I'm bringing enough, if I'm bringing the right ones. You know, you've taken classes. There's a certain amount of anxiety, like, what if I don't have the right piece, you know? And when I saw this new Yazzi bag that was coming out, I thought, this is the one. This is the one that I'm going to show up in class and look like so cool as I walk in with my Yazzi bag ready for class. You want to see it? It's called the Fat Quarter Bag. It'll fit, you know, like fat quarters, jelly rolls. But look, it's so organized. And I am not known for my organization. I'm not. I know, are you surprised? So, here it is. There's the pattern. There's all the scrap fabric, because I'm going to make my trees out of Asian fabrics. I knew that if I ever was going to make Scott's class, that I wanted to make a quilt that was like an ode to my maternal side of the family. The best part of this bag, not the best part, I keep saying the best part of this bag, but it would be great if YouTube would take this as my screenshot. What is really cool about this bag is there's about 10 yards of fabric in here. That when you unzip this and set it on your table, this front thing folds down and it just stands up there. It's like having a shelf of fabric in front of you. So if you're going to take a class, it's so neat compared to having fabric just exploding all over. Isn't that the coolest? So what I thought I'd do, and her bags are made out of a very sturdy polyester, and they're strong. So, you know, here, this is like 10 pounds of fabric, and I'm holding it by that handle. And since it's going to sit on my table like this, I have decided to, on the back side of it, to applique, I'll just show it to you from this side, to applique this cross stitch that I had done. So it'll sit up like this, facing out. Isn't that a great idea? And it's got all the quilt blocks. I'm very excited. So this is, just so you know, because you're going to want to have this bag if you take classes. This is this bag here. I'm going to show you one more bag. I will show you the other one that I got, the other couple that I got on another video as I organize myself. So the other bag that I am organizing myself with is because of Kathy Schmitz. I decided that I need to have the sisters in a bag. The projects that I want to do for both Bonnie and Kathy. And I looked at this bag and I said, this is the one. It is the trifold project bag. And I found this beautiful brooch that a friend had made for me, and I attached it to the front. So it's like a little briefcase, but look at that. Isn't that adorable? And so it has the Velcro. And then it folds out. Has pocket here. There's all the other animals. Thread. I found my Simply Sweet book, and that fits in there. I've started stitching on Mr. that goes with Mrs. So she's in there. It was really thrilling to meet the mother behind all of this. And then in this front pocket there, I have all the rest of the animals, plus I have Bonnie's bee bowl fillers, and this one here, one of the stitchers, quilters in Bend, Anne, did this, and it's absolutely lovely, and I immediately wanted to do it also. I just haven't gotten it finished. So now I'm hoping that because I have it more organized, do you think that's going to work? If you don't, lie to me and tell me it is. But this one looks more professional, doesn't it? Than just carrying it around in a grocery sack. So I'm excited about those two bags. Yeah. And because of what this room looks like, and no, I will not be showing it to you. I found so many things that look at Crabapple Hill. Yep. Want to do that. I also this week went online to Facebook because I belong to the wool applique group that Julie Kusavi runs on Facebook, and you can sign up and be a member, and downloaded the wool applique May pattern. Every month Debbie Busby has been putting out a free pattern on that Facebook group. There's so much to love, isn't there? And I loved this June one. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that. And Debbie is another lovely, lovely stitcher and just so talented. so talented. But I encourage you, if you are isolated and not able to travel, to meet up with a stitch group, you know, in your community. I know that in Bend, Oregon, the stitch groups meet at the senior center. Maybe so you try starting something in your area. It may take a little bit to get it rolling, but I'm here to tell you there is emotional support in stitching together. And it doesn't matter. It's like in those moments, it does not matter what religion, politics, race, any of that stuff does not matter. Your address, you know, where you went to school, what brings you together is this love of quilting and stitching, and you will have someone in that group that will hear your story. Maybe not everybody, but someone's going to hear it, and that is so important for us to be heard. So please try to find a group and start stitching with them. It's good for your health. It's good for your health. Let me just say that. Okay. I might be at the end. I might be at the end here. I've got an afternoon of cleaning up, of figuring out what I'm doing. Oh, I just wanted one more thing. I have to tell you what I did when I was stitching at the stitch group. So I took my Chris Yo bag. Isn't all that vintage fabric? And in it, this was the travel project. I want to tell you, you should always have a travel project. And my travel project, when I have absolutely no chance of thinking, that means I knew I was going to be talking a lot. I was going to have to make sure that, because here's the thing, I don't write a script. I try to write myself notes, but I never look at them. So it's kind of off the cuff, which is a little bit nerve-wracking. So I have to have downtime. I have to allow my brain downtime. And my downtime projects are, without a doubt, it's the good life. And the reason they are is because this couple that runs this company take all of the thinking out of it for you. So in their projects, it's the good life. They're printed on sandcastle fabric, so you don't need a hoop because it's thick. You don't have to worry about carrying. And in the projects, you get a pre-printed on sandcastle, and the thread. So there's no thinking. You just whip it out and start stitching. And I had to laugh because the project I took, well, all of my It's the Good Life is in this bag. And that's what I think is important, is that if you know, rather than having my projects scattered all over, I've started consolidating them in to either a project bag or a Yazzi bag. And then I feel more in control of my chaos. But this was the one that I was working on. It's so lovely. And all the stitches, they said you might have 3 stitches in here, mostly a back stitch. So the whole thing is back stitched there. And here's the funny part. I noticed on the pattern that there was brown, orange, brown, orange, brown, orange as it was going around. And so I thought, okay, I'm not going to mark that off. I'm just going to every so often stop and pull a brown thread and then do a brown thread. So I pulled the orange thread out of the thread provided and was totally totally surprised because they had even dyed the thread, so I didn't even have to think about that. I love them. I love them. So if you are interested, Sewing the Good Life is really a fantastic travel project. Okay, now I think I'm done. Now I think I'm done. So today I'm going to be organizing a little bit more, cleaning up. I found a whole stack of fabrics that I had cut out that I have no idea what quilt they were going to go to. I got a call from the gal that I use, Sandy Lakowski, who does a lot of my fancy quilting, and I had left 3 quilts with her. I totally forgot there were 3. I thought there were only 2, but she called and wanted to talk to me about them, and I always tell her, well, just do what you like. I don't think she likes that answer. And so she wants to talk to, talk it through with me. But I have never gotten a quilt that I didn't love that she has done. And I'll pick those up when I go down for Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening to me babble. Thank you for listening to me babble. I hope I have a lot more to show you next time. I'm going to be... I'm really going to try to put the pedal to the metal. Okay. Thank you all for stopping by. And please, if you think someone else might enjoy this channel, invite them. Invite them. Tell them to subscribe. Tell them to hit that notification bell so they'll get that notification when I do another one. Because I don't have a schedule, if you haven't noticed. I don't have a schedule. It's just when I feel moved to do it and I have enough to talk about, then I do it. So, yeah. And then Jill add some pictures here at the end. So thank you. Thank you for stopping by. You know I love you guys.